The Padres have a massive problem on their hands as this player's performance all year has been a massive letdown and fans are upset. Let's talk about it. Hi, welcome back to another episode of Padres Digest with your host, Andrew. Today we're addressing the very hot topic from basically the entire year, Luis Arraez. Is he good? Is he bad? Why is he bad? And what does it mean for the team? We're trying to answer all of that right now. Before we do, though, please, of course, subscribe. We're growing fast. We're growing steadily. I love it. Also, I am watching the game right now, so if I look over here, currently it's bases loaded in the top of the sixth with Cronenworth up. So let's see if we're going to have a happy video or a sad video. Anyways, so he just tried to bunt. I can't believe that. That's so crazy. Anyways, let's start with our English. I completely forgot what I was going to say. Let's start with some images, and then I do have an article from Archie Cianfrocco. Oh, it hit him. Oh, they scored. Okay, well, we'll take that. Anyways, the home field advantage. It talks about how Padres have played well at home, but at the end of the article, it talks about Luis Arraez in his year so far. So I might do another video on this part, the top part, like the main part of the article. But I want to talk about Luis Arraez because he always makes really good points with Luis Arraez. So we'll talk about that last, but we'll firstly go through the images. So the last 7 games, Luis Arraez is hitting 185, 185, 259. And the weird thing is 185 average, 185 on base, which means that he's literally not getting on base unless he hits the ball, which he's not doing, which is why it's awful, right? And in the last 15 games, Arraez is hitting 200, 219, 300, which means he's probably walked like 1 or 2 times. He shouldn't be starting, let alone hitting second. So Arraez 19 for 93 now over the last 32 games, 4 walks, 204 average, 238 on-base percentage, 309 slugging, 547 OPS. He isn't good in any category. FYI, hit second every one of those games. 7 RBI, 3 runs scored, 3 strikeouts, and 6 ground in the double plays in that span. Sample size, track record, etc. Why the frick is he hitting second? Shake my head. So since June 1st, Arraez has been the least valuable Padres starter. The new arrivals who played 20 to 25 games have surpassed him, 300 at-bat sample size. So going off WAR alone, I don't even see Luis Arraez. Oh, he's 10. So he's 10th right now. Gavin Sheets is technically doing better than Luis Arraez right now. And Fetty, he's not like a great hitter, right? But he's made huge impacts just playing small ball and being a very good catcher for our pitchers. And then some of the bench players, right? So for starters, he's offensively, I guess. Well, let's see. What did it say? 0.5. He's a little bit better than Gavin Sheets, but Gavin Sheets is more of a bench player than he is a full-time starter, let's call it. So I just praised Freddie Fermin, and then he struck out with the bases loaded. You're making me look bad, Freddie Fermin. Anyways, live game reactions with Andrew. So I want to show you this longer tweet that I couldn't fit on a regular image, so I just made it into a graphic. So Salty Padre fans, shout out to you. Huge shout out to @Steven Woods and @Ben Woods for asking the question we've all been begging for an answer to. Why is Luis Arraez in the 2 spot? Mike Shildt clearly has heard the noise as he gave what felt like a 10-minute response. However, Shildt at the end of the conversation gave his honest feelings of why is that a hard decision, and I don't know what the debate is about personally, and not into knee-jerk reactions, and refers to a small sample size. Say less. Here you go, Mike Shildt. This is where the San Diego Padres rank compared to all 30 teams in second batter performance in the 2025 season after 128 games, according to Baseball Reference. OPS, 26th, slug, 27, OBP, 25th, walk, 30th, RBIs, 28th, home runs, 30th, runs, 28th. So why is that a debate? So let me quickly show you, which one is this? That one. So right there, very left. Some other stuff we'll show later on. I had to cram a bunch of stats into one slide because I don't want to make 50 different slides. But as you can see, this one's sorted by runs. Padres are 28th, like it says. And with Arraez, obviously, the walks are going to be low because he doesn't walk that much. And obviously, home runs are going to be super low because he doesn't hit home runs. So that's not surprising. Slug 2 in a way, right? But OPS, on-base percentage, his on-base should be higher because of how he hits. And then where was the other one? Runs also should be higher because he's supposed to hit and get on base. But because on base is low, that means his runs are low. You can't score a run if you're not on base, and he's not going to hit home runs, right? So why is this a debate? Because your lineup produces the worst second batter production in the league, buddy. This is where Luis Arraez ranks on the Padres roster. New guys, I'm looking at their whole season. On base percentage 8th, OPS 10th, walking 7th, runs 4th, RBIs 5th. So this is what the debate is about, Mike Shildt. Yes, the team is winning, but how can you argue that we couldn't be winning more if we weren't rolling out the cumulative worst production from the second batter in the lineup out of every baseball team in the league? I read that weird, but that's fine. For the entire season. He has almost a league worst chase rate and walk percentage as well. Bottom line, Luis Arraez is in the second spot, borderline league worst production from that spot compared to all 30 teams, as you can see from this. And I'll show you the rest of this stuff in a sec. It more goes in line with the article we're going to read in a bit. This might be a long episode too, by the way, if I didn't mention that. So strap in. I'm sure you saw the time when this gets uploaded, but I don't know how long it's going to be yet. We're doing this live. Anyways, let's move back to our images. Hello, Luis Arraez. He is appalled by my statistical analysis. I know Arraez had 2 hits yesterday. This is from 2 days ago, I think. Want more of that. This at-bat yesterday in the 5th IMO basically encompasses why he's been so inconsistent all year. So this was the at-bat, I think, from yesterday, where he watched ball 1, and then he watched strike 1, which was a call, right? But it was inside. And then he watched strike 2, which was a high inside strike. And then he just slaps a ball that's off the plate straight to the left fielder, right? So you watch Arraez on the first 3 pitches. He absolutely has no intention to swing. You do not walk or strike out. Why are you giving free strikes away? Those pitches aren't bad or anything, but that's not the point. Not even to be willing to swing is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. Of course, when he gets to 2 strikes, his game plan is to just make contact, and it's just a weak fly out to left. This is ridiculous, and the hitting staff has to tell him this isn't smart. The first inning, he actually smashed a ball to the pull side with 2 strikes. That shocked me because we rarely see it. Of course, it was a pitch way out of the zone, but whatever, damage is damage. And he continues, Arraez has one of the highest zone percentage in all of the league. Pitchers are simply not scared of him, and he is letting them get away with murder. It is absolutely mind-boggling how bad his approach has gotten, how the hitting staff has not addressed it, and how Shildt has not held him accountable by sliding him down in the order. And that was that one picture that I was showing you. First of all, if you don't know what zone percentage means, that basically means the amount of pitches he sees in the strike zone. So he's top 3 in the league, basically tied with number 1 through like small, tiny percentages. But basically he sees like half the pitches, or he'll see like 57% of pitches that are in the strike zone, which is weird, right? Because he just watches. I'm assuming everyone here on this list is people who like watching strike 1 or just like watching pitches until it's a strike. Arraez is like a special case where like he'll even watch pitches in the strike zone if he doesn't like them, but then he'll swing at a pitch that's like 10 feet above his head and try to hit it for a base hit. So that approach may have worked in like earlier years, and I'll show you some stats in a bit, but it's not really working that well for a couple of reasons this year. But it's crazy to me how much he watches pitches literally in the strike zone. But moving on. Where were we? Okay, yeah. So this is a thread from someone named Ryan Noseball. We've mentioned him on the channel before. But Tony Gwynn Jr. went on MLB Now and talked about Luis Arraez. Obviously, I don't have the video because I don't want to get sued by MLB Network, but I'll put the link in the description. And if you guys want, first of all, please apply if you haven't. Ignore my dogs barking in the background if you can hear that. But watch the video first if you want. And I'll give you a sec. And then we'll talk about the thread. And then let me wrangle up my dogs because they're barking at the neighbor dogs. Okay, my bad. So, did you watch the video yet? You know, I have to go take care of my dogs. I'm hoping you watched the video. If not, basically he was asking questions like, why is Shildt using him? Why has his approach been looking bad? Why are they doing this? And Tony Gwynn's like, well, it works for him usually. It's just not working for him right now. That's basically what he said, right? So let's show you the thread. Tony says there's value in fighting off 7-8 pitches when he's down 0-2, yet his pitches per plate appearance is 3.64 or 126th in the MLB. We all know despite his first pitch swing percent being league average or normal, he still doesn't see a lot of pitches. Another fallacy. There was that one at bat where he got like 11 pitches and it looked really good. Probably one of the best at bats we've seen, not just from him, but from the entire team all year. But that's like one out of like 400 plate appearances? Like 3.64, you're not really doing much to stay alive. Or not even just stay alive. You're not doing much to get the pitcher out of the game early. Let's put it that way. Right? And then 3, MLB Now host Brian Kenny, who I guess is a clown. I don't watch MLB Now, but apparently he's a clown. You guys can let me know in the comments. Points out he may be making too much basic content. He's a content creator, yes. Basic contact and sacrificing other production to simply make contact. Tony defends him again, saying he shouldn't change his style and profile. If that's the case, it's easy to move him down. So I'm not sure what will happen in the few days when Jackson Merrill comes off the IL, but if we see one of Gavin Sheets or Ryan O'Hearn not starting over Arraez, we might actually have to riot. To literally riot. Weighted runs created plus, O'Hearn 135, again, 100 being average. O'Hearn 135, Cronenworth 118, Sheets 117, Arraez 100. It's black and white. Basically, Arraez is an average hitter. Sheets is a better hitter than average, but he needs to be DH, right? Literally at this game right now, I'm watching right now, there is that one home run that I think it was Suarez hit. Gavin Sheets is such a horrible fielder that, like, I swear to God, anyone but him could have robbed that home run because I don't think it was that far. Oh, they're going to score again. That's going to suck. Oh, went over the wall. We're good. Okay. Sorry. But yeah, Gavin Sheets in left field is horrible. So put him at DH, put O'Hearn at first, and then obviously Merrill and Laureano go back to their normal spots. Is my ideal lineup. And I think I talked about it in my yesterday's video about the ideal lineup. But yeah. Did I put the same thing twice? Press the wrong buttons. Oh my God. Okay. But yeah, like I was saying, Luis Arraez got a lot more starts at first base than Ryan O'Hearn. But, like, this is from a couple days ago, the 22nd. But, like, +5 DRS at first base. Do you see Arraez on here? No. So why is Arraez getting more starts than a guy who has +5 DRS at first base? You know what I mean? Like, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe Mike Shildt knows more than I do. I'm not saying Luis Arraez is bad at first base, but I'm saying he's not as good as Ryan O'Hearn. And it's pretty clear. How can you tell it's clear? Because Ryan O'Hearn's name's on this list, and Luis Arraez isn't. It's simple as that, right? So let's get into the nitty-gritty, detail-oriented stuff. I'll try my best to explain the stats, but I had the article. Obviously, I don't want to just read it one for one, so I had my best friend ChatGPT summarize it and give some bullet points, and I'll give you some of the images. Obviously, 100% full credit to Archie Cianfrocco. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong. Former Padre, as someone yelled at me once for not knowing. So sorry, I love you. But yeah, what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying. We'll just jump into it though. But like I said, full credit to him. I know he probably didn't intend someone to run it through ChatGPT, but like I said, I don't want to bore you guys reading things one for one. Let's just talk about what you need to know, right? So let's start with the past production from 2019 to 2023. So he averaged 123 weighted runs created plus, which is equal to Schwarber, Simeon, and Contreras, firmly top 50 in the MLB. In 2022 to 23, he improved to a 130 weighted runs created plus with a 359 weighted on-base average, which is 16th in the MLB, which outperformed Machado and Vladdy Jr. in run value, which is crazy. Walk rates were solid early, which from a 7 to 8%, combining elite contact with above average OBP percentage. But 2023 saw him moved into the heart of the order. His walk rate dropped, but his contact quality was historically consistent. Maintained one of MLB's lowest standard deviations in exit velocity and launch angle, producing repeatable line drives. That was 2023. And then moving on to the next one. So signs of decline in the 2024 season. Won his third straight batting title, but OBP fell to a career worst due to a steep drop in walks, like he wasn't walking that much anymore. Soft contact percentage spiked, while exit velocity, EV, and hard hit percentage hit career lows. His pop-up rate, IFFB percentage, reached a career high, unlike power hitters who trade pop-ups for home run. For Arraez, this signaled failure. So I have a butt ton of images for that. So you can see the top parts. So Minnesota from all those times in 23 is Miami. So you can look at the average, right? 2019, 334, 320, 321, and then 2023 jumps up to a 354, which obviously really good, right? And you look at the on base too. Like even though he was hitting 354, he had almost a 400 on base, and his slug was over 400, and his OPS was like that, right? That's not really how it's going right now. You know what I mean? Does it have anything on here about his stats right now? No, but you've seen his stats, right? I can tell you right now, actually. It's probably on the box score. Oh, that's right. He's not playing. Oh, it's right here. 283 average. Which again, 283 is not a bad average. Like it's a really good average. But when your whole entire game is predicated on you, I said predicated. That was a big word. I'm proud of myself. When his whole batting style is predicated on hitting, like, oh, thank God Peralta got out of that bases loaded jam. Again, sorry, I'm watching the baseball game, but I keep stopping on my point. His whole game is him getting hits, and when he's not getting hits, it kind of defeats the whole purpose, right? But then you can see, like he said, the induced fly ball percentage. Look, it's pretty low, right? I mean, 2020, 1.9, 2021, 3.6, and right now it's at or 2024, it was at a 5.6. Exit velocity has gone down over time. Hard hit percentage has gone down over time. So, yeah, we'll talk about the other stuff in a sec, but that is a big deal. So, current struggle. Did we finish this one? Yeah. So, pre-injury versus post-injury splits, EV. Okay, yeah, that was a thing right there. So, let me go back to that. Where do you go? So, yeah, balls in play, 2025, 24, and then pre-injury, post-injury kind of things. So, his pop-up percentage post-injury went up to 7.2%. And that's when he injured his hand, if you remember that. And it took him out for a while. Did it take him out for a while? I don't remember. But I remember he hurt his hand and it really messed him up, but he played through it. I think it was his thumb that got messed up. But his pop-up percentage went straight up after the injury, and then it's gone up and stayed up since 2024 and 2025. But before that, it was like below 3, except for, below 4, I should say, which is good, right? In 2023, it was like his best year hitting, and it was like a 1.8 percentage, and 544 balls were hit into play. So, yeah, maybe it's the injury. You could say that. Maybe it's mechanical. Maybe it's a mechanic he changed when he had the injury because he can't swing the same way he did. We don't know. It's all in his, or it's all up to him and how he feels and the hitting coaches and all that. But current struggles through about 3/4 of the season, weighted run created plus is 96. His first year below league average. This was written, I think the 25th. So a couple days old, but it should still be around the same area. He set a new career low in exit velocity, hard hit percentage, and bat speed, all trending worse than 2024. Soft contact percentage climbed even further, undermining his line drive profile, which means he's hitting it real soft, which is, again, a huge difference from what it was back in the day. So 2023 was at a 29.8%. His best was 34.7%. And then currently he is at his worst. Did it have that on here? I lost it again. I should really label these better, but I never do. I wish I had the 2025 on there. That's okay, though. You'll just have to believe us that the stats are, in fact, there. But pop-up rate, nope, wrong one. This one. Soft contact percentage climbed even further. We did that one already. Pop-up rate remains elevated and hasn't reverted to pre-injury norms. Like I showed you the pop-out already. He's been popping up a lot. Most concerning, pop-ups now come on high and inner half pitches, the same zones where he excelled in 2023. Okay, Tatis almost hit a home run. That's disappointing. Tatis needed that. Okay, but as you can see, pop-up percentage 2025 versus 2023. So, as you can see, a lot of red in 2023 and basically a lot of blue in 2025. That's pretty much the easiest way you could look at it. But like they said, high and inner half pitches. There you go. I'll let you look at it. I mean, you can see it. But like 359 BAPIP, and then in 2023, and now a 276 BAPIP, and then pop-up percentage 5, which is now 12. Like, it's not looking good, and pitchers have a relative game plan when they look at stats like this. You know what I mean? But honestly, like, if you're just a pitcher, you can just throw it anywhere because you know he's going to swing at it, right? Like, you could even throw it outside the zone. You can throw the worst slider in human history, and he might swing at it. You know what I mean? So I don't know how much pitchers really worry about this stuff. I'm sure they have it in mind, right? But I feel like they should know now that, like, no matter where you throw it, Arraez can probably hit it. And that's a good thing, but also a detrimental thing, as we've seen the entire year. But Moving on to park and positioning factors. So opposite field fly balls in 2025 lost several miles of exit velocity, shrinking average distance significantly. Outfielders now shade him deeper to left field, expecting weak fly balls. Defensive alignments routinely leave open space in right, but he lacks the authority to exploit it. Petco's dimensions, which have a short left field, may have cost him some hits in 2024, but road splits in 2025 show the issue isn't only on Petco. Decline lines up more with reduced batted ball quality than park effects alone. Again, we can show you that. So, home and away. So, home, his batting average was 476 in 23, 493 in 2023. So, he hit better at home. This is with the Marlins. He hit better away with the Marlins. And then next year, when he played at Petco Park, it was at 405, and then away, 467. But it's actually flipped, and now he hits better at Petco than he does away. So, interesting, right? So you would think that maybe Petco doesn't play for his kind of style of hitting, but in reality, it's not. That's not what the numbers are now saying. So it's not the Park's fault, I guess you could say. It's Luis Arraez's fault, which I guess is the simplest way I could say that. And then there's that other graph I didn't really touch on the bottom left, but we kind of get the idea by now. So, yes, the relevant question. Causes debated. Is it injury? Is it league adjustments? His age, only 28, or deteriorating swing decisions? That's a big question. It's not something that we can really we can only guesstimate, but it's not something that did Machado just hit a home run? No. That, I swear to God, I'm sorry, I'm going off topic again, but I swear to God, that's like the 5th ball that made it to the warning track that's not going out for us, but the Mariners have no problem hitting home runs against us. That makes me annoyed. Anyways, regardless of cause, the measurable decline is in hard contact, EV, and weighted runs created plus, not just surface average. So yes, the average has been going down, but there's been other things, like we said, hard contact, exit velocity, and weighted runs created plus, which have a huge drop-off or just look worse than it did past couple of years. His 2024 decline still left him at 109 weighted runs created plus, which is 9 above average. 2025 dip to 96 shows further regression. Key unknown. Are these trends reversible to 2019-2023 form, or is this the new baseline? Batting titles reflect past skill but no longer predict future two-hole value unless his metrics rebound. Ooh, excuse me. So, yeah, basically, his swing, I don't want to say is broken, but it's not exactly working for him the way it has been before. And he seems very set and keeping things the same way. And I'm sure Mike Shildt and the coaching staff are also kind of, not enabling it, but they let him do what he thinks he needs to do. You know what I mean? And during my Tatis video, we talked about how Victor Rodriguez values plate discipline more than just hitting 80 home runs and striking out 500 times a season. Obviously, that's an exaggeration, but my point being is that he likes Arraez's approach because Arraez hits the ball and gets on base. Is supposed to be what he's doing, but he's not. But I think Victor Rodriguez honestly might be a little bit to blame because they, and I assume Mike Shildt too, they see Arraez and they see a player who just needs to get himself out of a slump, when in reality the slump has been kind of here the entire time. Right? The entire year. So, what does this mean for us? For starters, he's a free agent next year. I'm 90% sure. So, don't re-sign him, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are like, but he's the next Tony Gwynn. He needs to be here. He's just like Tony Gwynn. No, he's not. No, he's not. And I think, I don't know how to say this without sounding blasphemous, but I don't think that Tony Gwynn's exact game is something that would work 100% nowadays. Arraez, obviously, okay, well, see, the thing about Tony Gwynn is, I was too young to ever really watch him, so I don't know if I can really make these claims. So I'm going to backtrack. You guys let me know. You, the old heads who watch this, you let me know. I was a little too young to watch Tony Gwynn bats, so I can't really say anything. I was going to say, I don't know. I don't know if his style of approach would work nowadays, because people throw harder than ever and have filthier pitches than ever. But that being said, I know Tony Gwynn was elite against some of the best pitchers of all time, like Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, Pedro Martinez. So I'll let you guys tell me that because I don't want to make assumptions because I don't want to get yelled at. So you let me know. Do you guys think Tony Gwynn or Luis Arraez shares similar qualities to Tony Gwynn, or do you think Tony Gwynn's approaches were much better than Luis Arraez's? Let me know. I don't want to make any claims. I know I kind of did, but I'm backtracking. I'm taking it back. I don't want to make those kind of claims because I actually just don't know fully. Because again, I'm a young person. I'm so sorry. But yeah, did I get everything I want to talk about? I'm pretty sure we did. So yeah, okay, that's everything. So basically, what's gonna have to happen? It's not gonna happen. I need you guys to know. I need you to understand right now. What I'm gonna say is what I want to happen. It's not gonna happen. Merrill's gonna come back. We're gonna put Sheets at DH. We're gonna have Laureano on left, Merrill at center. Arraez will be on the bench. That is what I want to happen. What's gonna happen is Merrill is gonna come back. Arraez is gonna go back to first base DH. Sheets is gonna stay on the bench, and everything is gonna be the same way it was before Merrill got injured. So I don't think there's a 10% chance that Luis Arraez is gonna get benched, right? 10% chance. We all know Mike Shildt ride or dies for his boys. Luis Arraez is one of his boys, and he's gonna keep up exactly what he's been doing all year, starting Arraez. Put him at now. The compromise would be move him down to 7, or like even lower. I think 7's fine, right? And then move Laureano up. My thing about that, and why I don't like the lineup we had today, is I actually like having Laureano at 7 because I like having danger at the bottom of the lineup. That being said, I still don't think Arraez at this 2-hole is a good option. Maybe you can put Jackson Merrill at 2, which I think would be better suited for Merrill, and then drop down Arraez to like, what, 5th, 6th, right? Maybe swap Bogaerts and Arraez every once in a while, see what works, but we all know it's not going to happen. Luis Arraez is going to be at the 2-hole for the rest of the year, the entire playoffs, and probably for whatever team he goes to next. They're going to keep using him at 2-hole. It sucks. We wish we could do more about it. Let's be honest. Mike Shildt does not give a flying flippity flip crap about what we think. He doesn't watch these videos. He doesn't read our comments. He doesn't go on Twitter, I assume. So basically, we're stuck with Arraez at the 2-hole. And I don't know. There's not much else I can really say about it. It's just Arraez is not just hurting the team at the 2-hole. He's hurting Tatis's on base skills, like we've seen a billion times, where like he'll steal and then Arraez fouls off the worst pitch in human history, and then he has to go back and then he steals again, and Arraez swings at the second worst pitch in human history and fouls it off. So honestly, if I'm Tatis, I'm pissed off when Arraez is at the bat. Like, he kind of kills, like, having Tatis be the on base boss that he is now is it is hurt by the fact that Arraez doesn't really do much with him on base, or let him do much on base with his approach, which is why Tatis has to steal basically first pitch. That being said, if you only steal first pitch, you're going to be super predictable, and pitchers are going to start throwing out, or like, you know what I mean, throwing out, like the catcher like stands up and throws it really quick so he gets him out. Is that the phrase for it? Throwing out? Oh God, please yell at me. Or they're going to, like, you know, pick him off, or the catcher will just like, they'll figure it out. Let's put it that way. They'll figure it out, right? So I don't know. What needs to be done? Arraez, bench. What's going to be done? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, sorry for the long episode, but we can call this a podcast episode. I'll have it out tomorrow morning for you guys. So yeah, I'm going to have to make a video of being upset about the Mariners in a bit. So stay tuned for that. That'll be out today. I don't know why I said that, because this video will be out tomorrow. You know what I mean? Whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching, though. Let me know how you feel. Do you think Luis Arraez, like I said, do you think Luis Arraez and Tony Gwynn are comparable, or do you think they're two completely different players? How do you feel about Arraez? Do you want him on the bench? Do you want him where he is? Do you think he'll figure it out? Or do you just want him off the team in general? Do you want to re-sign him? I don't, but do you want to re-sign him? And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Please subscribe, and go Padres. Goodbye. Bye-bye.